are not ready for prime time.
Prime time.
Prime time.
Prime time. That's the name.
Prime time.
Prime time.
What time is it? Showtime prime time.
It's XL Prime Time, featuring Joe C.
And then he couldn't fire his glutes later.
Matt Hayes.
I'm not running over the Barnett Tower and heaving myself off it.
And Leon Searcy.
Now, you come across that middle, you better have some meat on your bone.
How you like me now? How you like me now?
Well, I will miss Tiger Woods' glutes tomorrow through Sunday. That's for sure. Hadn't fired those glutes in a long time. But the PGA Championship, with or without him, will press on tomorrow. With all that rain that fell earlier this week, it's a chance for Rory to roar back into that conversation of a Grand Slam all in one calendar year. How special
is that where that came from? Because I think I asked you the other day where that came from, that drop, the glutes.
He couldn't fire his glutes.
Yeah. Was that from Tiger?
Yeah. I want JJ to go back and see if you can find that one, because he ended up having to he was playing terrible and he needed to blame it on something.
So he said he couldn't fire his
glutes. But anyway, we'll find it. But unfortunately, his body just broke down. There's no doubt about it. There's no and who among us haven't had our body let us down a time or two? Okay. All right. So we've got plenty to get into today. It is the day of the schedule release, which will come up tonight. We already have some intel. We'll throw a couple of them that have been put out there. We already know what the international games look like, including the Jaguars and the Rams at Wembley in mid-October. And we'll get into all the other ones as we go along today. But it is kind of fun. It's exciting because there's already been so much brand new that has taken place during this offseason, fellas, that this is now, like just a minute ago, JJ said, who was it? Jordan Schultz was one of the first guys who put out Carolina here for the opener against the Jaguars. And Matt Hayes said what?
He said 1-0.
1-0. I'm thinking,
I may
wow.
or may not have said that.
That's the most hyped thing Matt said about the Jags coming into this season that I've heard in a while.
I love the
What did you say after that, too, Leon? You called me what?
We're going to call you May Matt. May Matt.
Now, what was that season a couple years ago where Joe, literally the entire offseason was like, oh, they're 2-0 here.
Yeah,
like, they're going to start. And I
think it was Leon who said 4-0, wasn't it?
I will tell you exactly what it was. JJ,
I think you said 4-0 at one point for last year's schedule. I think you did.
He probably did last year.
I can believe that.
But mine was the Herb year. They will start off 1-0 against Houston, and there's no way they're losing that game.
That might have been, and I'm not going out on a limb. I'm dead serious when I say this. That might have been the worst game that this franchise has ever played.
I don't know, but it's up there.
It was so utterly discombobulated.
Yeah.
Everything about that.
It was one of those, and I know a lot of you out there have had these moments where you really think you got something good. And it could be just Jaguar related or anything. You think you got something good, and you can't wait for it to happen, and then all of a sudden it does, and you're like, holy crap.
Oh my God. I can guarantee you, I'm sure Balky said this, but I would almost guarantee that Shad Khan after that game said, I might have made a big mistake.
Yeah, he might have. They may never ever come out with that, but yeah.
They couldn't even get guys in the field, man.
Well, that went from this time I got it right to what the H
Did
just
I just
happened
do? Right.
in H-Town. And that basically was
That was like a trapeze act with no net. It was. People were free falling everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh my God, it was terrible.
All right, so let's look at the schedule. We'll keep an eye on it as we go along today, and get fired up, because this is when Edilla. I love paying attention to him anyway on social media, because he's always giving us something either funny or something to think about. But he's a schedule dude, and so I was paying attention to him earlier, just kind of seeing if primetime games are going to come out. You've had plenty that have been reporting on a lot of these, the normals, the rap sheets, the Schefters, the Jordan Schultzes of the world that have come out with them. So we're going to keep an eye on all those that are coming up, because there's a lot of good ball games, and especially if Jacksonville can find their way back to primetime and represent, because I think that's the biggest key right now, is it not? Don't go back there and not represent.
Yeah, well, JJ said something in the production meeting earlier. If we're going to do the prime times, and I'm not being pessimistic here, let's do them early. All right, because we don't want
got to actually get the game on
let's
TV
get the game
on
on
last
TV.
year.
Absolutely, because last year, the Jaguars were so terrible. We got what's the word for it?
Flexed.
Flexed.
Right
Yes,
out of
we
there.
got flexed right up out of there. So
And
I
that,
mean,
that was someone else flexing.
yes, there was. So
Jacksonville was not.
Let's get him early.
Should have
Bro.
been flexed out of the league.
I think it was
last
the Eagles.
It was the Eagles game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to
And
be
they
Sunday night.
They went to Colts. It was not a very
No,
good
it wasn't a
game.
good game they went to. It was,
Yeah.
it was like a average to less than average game.
Yeah, but it
and I
was-
think the Colts were part of it.
Yeah, it was
And the
just-
Jags-Eagles game ended up being pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
True. You got the season highlight from it, too, if anything.
Well, you got a,
They
a
stopped
Madden
the
cover.
tush push, too.
Yeah, you got a Madden cover out of it is what you got.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
You
The
get a better
jump,
cover out of
It was
The
the
jump.
reverse.
missed tackle thing.
Yeah, it was the reverse. I've never
Play
seen
of
it
the year.
before.
That's, that's not that's the juke button on Madden. Man. You know that the backwards jump.
That is it. That is exactly it. All right, so how stoked are you? Are you fired up? You got a good feeling about any one of these games that you're looking forward to? You can hit us on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. We'd love to get into a little Jag talk, especially coming out of minicamp, getting into the schedule. We'll have our schedule release videos that we'll start to put out tomorrow once everything becomes official, but definitely fired up for it. Golf Club of Southampton, they bring you today's show. Fired up to see a bunch of our golfers, our 9 at 5ers, our prime timers later on today. A little after 5 o'clock, you can get it rolling. We wait for everybody to kind of punch out, get there on time, warm up, and then hit the course. Some food afterwards, surprises, all sorts of good fun. So definitely, if you can call 287-play. Get on the tee sheet. They got a skins game to go along with a regular 9-hole game, which is always fun for all you guys who like to have a little action when you're out on the course. All right, so we've got a few things that we need to get into, and I feel like this is worth a that right now just to kind of get us rolling, JJ.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We had a few guys that you just knew that they were the Ever Ready battery or whatever it's called, just keep right on trucking. Derrick Henry has agreed to a 2-year extension up in Baltimore. And this guy just keeps on trucking. He is the Energizer Bunny. There's no doubt about it. And he was, I think, more than most people expected last year, Leon, and he keeps his body in tip-top shape. And the beating that he has taken, he's going to come back for 2 more. At least
I seen him a couple of times on Instagram. I see him running those hills. Now that's old school. Running those hills the way he's running them. I mean, he's running it with a band. I mean, when
It's like Rocky IV.
Yeah, it is, bro. It's very impressive. But yeah, what he did with the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, he was essentially he was wasted. To be quite honest with you, all the success he had because that team was. I picked that team to go to the Super Bowl that year. You know, you add in Derrick Henry along with Lamar Jackson and the ability to run the ball and that solid offensive line and everything like that. I can appreciate what Derrick Henry did because you got to remember he was on the Titans team the last year.
Yeah.
He was on the Titans team that had the worst offensive line in the league, and he still ran for 1,480 yards and beat us too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we had one. Yeah. I hate to bring up old stuff, but it did.
that would hurt.
It did hurt us. All we had to do was win. We were going to playoffs. But yeah, I'm good. Saquon Barkley got rewarded as well. The Eagles paid him $20 million a year, and it's good that Derrick Henry got paid as well.
And so this is a 2-year, $30 million deal, according to reports, but $25 million guaranteed. So that, and for a 31-year-old running back,
He'll be 32 in January. By the end of the season, he's going to be 32.
and $25 million guaranteed. That just
Right.
basically is
That's-
a testament to the king.
Not only that, it's a testament to how he's kept his body in shape.
Yeah.
How he stayed healthy. Your best ability is availability. He's there every single week, man. I think there was one season where he missed a few games.
That's what I was going to say.
But other than that, he's right down the middle, man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I could really only remember one year
One
where
season
he
where he missed like about, I think, 6 or 7 games. But, man, he is available. Not only is he available, but he's good almost every game. Almost every game.
Yeah.
You know what you got from him. You know he's going to get tough yards. You know if he's on, he's going to get over 100. It's a given. How do you not love? I mean, if you're an NFL franchise, why would you not pay for that? Why would you not pay for, all right, if he's good and we're good, he's going to rush for 1,400 or 1,500 yards.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
And he's an anomaly because he's a battering ram. I mean, he's not the type of guy who runs out of bounds. I mean,
there's no wiggle.
he's trying to inflict punishment
there's no
every
wiggle
time
there,
he
man.
runs the ball. That's a rare breed in the NFL now. Somebody that's running between the tackles, unloading on linebackers, unloading on safeties, and still chucking.
Yeah, that's what this team thought they had in Leo. And probably did have Leo for about a season and a half.
Yeah. Yeah,
But that's what they envisioned.
They had it. He had it the first year, and then he went into the injury-riddled year in just his second season.
I think his best years when he went to Wyoming. Remember when he went to Wyoming to train? He came back and he was just stronger. He was just stronger, more durable. Even more flexible. So
he caught 76 balls out of the backfield that year. Yeah. But his best year, honestly, was 2017 when they made it, when he was a rookie, and then that year that Leon's talking about. Probably his second most productive year.
21, right?
It was so uneven. I'm not sure. 21. It might have been 20.
20.
Yeah, because they said goodbye to him in 21.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he did catch 76 balls the year before.
He definitely caught over 70 passes. I remember that.
And but he was just so uneven. You couldn't necessarily count on him. And the hamstring got him. The weight might have gotten him. But Derrick Henry right now, active leader in rushing yards, 11,423 rushing yards and over 100 scores.
Is your first ballot? If he keeps it up, let's say this year he goes for 1,500, and last year goes 1,600, goes off in the win.
Yeah.
Wins the Super Bowl.
Well, then it's a no-brainer if he has all that. But it's so funny because when we had this discussion, I bet 4 years ago, and we said, "Oh, come on now, pump the brakes." I don't know about that. Well, 4 years later, it's now over. He's going to crack 12,000 yards. You'd have to assume.
If he does Leon's 3,100 in the last 2 years, and he has more than Peyton's initial NFL record, which he will then at that point, he'll be at 14,000. And Peyton was 13,000 something, right?
Yeah, because
he's
Emmett was over 15, I believe. So
whether he gets the Super Bowl or not, he's a lock first ballot if he does that.
Yeah, 2020 is when he rushed for over 2,000 yards, and here he is 6 seasons later.
Yeah.
How do you not look at him?
5 seasons later,
right? How do you not look at him and what he's done in this league and not think, okay, yeah, he's all.
He's 19th all time right now.
Yeah, and so if
he finished with like 2,000 more, he'd break the top 10
in a league that since he's been in the league has been more vertical pass.
Yeah, they've walled off the running back a lot more, and they just barely had this renaissance year for Saquon and for the Diesel, but he's just been so consistent and productive and a menace to Jaguar fans in a Titans uniform forever. But he's still the pride of Yulee, and you still now that he left the division, you definitely I'm thinking a lot of people root for him more now, of course, that he's out of that mayonnaise uniform and he's up there in Baltimore.
Who do you think was a better running back, Derrick Henry or Jerome Bettis?
Bettis was some kind of good.
I'll take Henry.
Yeah, Bettis was some kind of good.
And Bettis is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much right after he retired, right after he was eligible. They pretty much put him in.
He was also on the Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I played against Bettis.
I know you did. You were shaking your head there a little bit.
And that was, they won it in
Bust pretty good.
2005. Yeah, and he was a big piece of it because Roethlisberger was not.
Let me ask you this. Were there guys on the field that were making business decisions with Buss?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
As much as they make business decisions with Derrick Henry?
Maybe not as much. Maybe not as much.
I think the guys
the name alone, Buss, would get you out the hell out of the way.
Yeah. I think the guys that I think of more than anything else, and this is not going all the way back, of course, it's some of the old ones. Jim Brown was the original, the genuine article, the OG, when it came to running people over. But Brandon Jacobs, he didn't last nearly as long in the NFL as you would have hoped if you were a Giants fan. He scared people. And Allstott probably scared people a little bit. And then there's Derrick Henry. That's just a whole nother level, it feels like. And then the only other guy that I think is like struck fear was Gronk. Trying to bring him to the ground.
Yeah. Gronk. Yeah, I can give you that.
Yeah, he was just a big, powerful, bruising human being that was tough to bring down. All right, so you guys jump in as far as the schedule is concerned. What's got you most fired up? What are you feeling, leaning in on as far as primetime games? You can do it 641-1010. Hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. We came out of the ACC meetings yesterday with a couple of good conversations that we will get back into in the world of college football. There's some stuff going on there that we need to touch on as well. It is XL Primetime.
This is Mark Purnell.
This is Steve Smith from the New York Giants.
This is Rocky Blyer, former Pittsburgh Steeler and 4-time Super Bowl champion.
You're listening to 1010XL.
1010XL.
92.5 FM.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious. So why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Joe C. for Preferred Roofing, reminding you your roof is more than just felt and shingles. It's a system that not only keeps your home dry, but also impacts your heating and cooling bills. Preferred Roofing and Construction is a GAF Master Elite roofing contractor lauded for having the ability to educate and inform homeowners on their options. Why GAF and Preferred Roofing? They're veteran-owned and operated with ties to Duval for decades. A family business ready to make sure your family has a good roof over its head. Log on, preferredroofingjacks.com.
As a Florida homeowner, you're no stranger to mosquito problems. And although it's tempting to use DIY methods to get rid of them, mosquitoes are relentless. That's why it's important to enlist the help of the mosquito experts at Florida Pest Control. At Florida Pest Control, we offer specialized treatment solutions that are effective against mosquito infestations and are committed to keeping our customers protected year-round. For your free quote, give us a call or visit flapest.com today. Florida Pest Control, your local mosquito control experts.
It's 1010XL's You Pick'em contest.
The PGA Championship.
Locked down by Pella Windows and Doors.
Good looking shot here.
You could win $1,000 of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds.
So what happens now?
Enter at 1010XL.com.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Say goodbye to glasses and contacts with customized vision treatments at Bowden Eye & Associates. Hey, Hicken here. Dr. Bowden and his expert team bring you all the latest options like Evo implantable Coliber lenses, refractive lens exchange, or traditional LASIK. Tailored just for you. Imagine waking up to clear vision. No hassle, no fuss. You ready to see the difference? Call now or visit BowdenEye.com for a free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Swing into the hottest party of the summer. Join First Tee North Florida at the Yards on June 12th for the Summer Soiree Baja Beach Bash. We're bringing the vibrant spirit of Cabo San Lucas to the First Coast for an evening of family-friendly fun. Enjoy live music, craft cocktails, golf games, raffle prizes, and delicious Mexican-inspired cuisine from Taco Lu. Golf, fiesta, and philanthropy, all to support the impactful programs of the First Tee. Visit firstteenorthflorida.org/summer soiree to secure your tickets today.
Don't be sidelined from an injury that keeps you out of the game. Get the care the pros receive. Now available at injury care
Center's newly FDA regenerative treatments that will significantly shorten your recovery time. Sprains, strains, fractures, post-op surgeries, cut your recovery time in half or shorter. Masking pain just makes it worse. Fix it now. Call 904-783-0008. That's 904-783-0008. Injury care starts at Injury Care Centers.
No matter what the reason, sending a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers always works. For unique and special gifts, visit their showroom on Beach Boulevard. ET here with 1010XL. Kuhn Flowers is my go-to, and it should be yours too. Online at KuhnFlowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
XL Primetime, 2 o'clock hour. You keep it going right here on 1010XL from, well, as soon as you hear Jeff Prosser crack the airwaves at 6A, all the way to Hacker After Dark, because we talk about what you care about most. That's for sure. Ball, football, primarily. We need to get into the NBA, the association, a couple of games as far as how it went down last night. One did not go very well at all for the top seed, and the other one kind of flexing as far as the top seed goes. All right, so we're going to talk a little more as far as the schedule goes, but this has a little schedule related to it as well with that.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So we had been up at Amelia Island the last couple of days with the ACC spring meetings, and the ACC commish, Jim Phillips, does his little deal today where he has his formal presser. And the way the story's being written, and Matt, pick it up from here, the straight seeding proposal is basically what we're looking at. Instead of giving a conference champion that automatic top seed, the college football playoff is going to change. It's going to keep the same field size.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
He just said he has no problem with it.
Right.
My guess is if he doesn't have a problem with it, then the rest won't. Brent Yormark at the Big 12 won't. And if the Power Four are aligned together in this straight seed, it'll happen.
And the reason why I feel like you could basically kind of print it now is because of the Power Four, it's SEC, Big Ten in some order. Correct. Because the Big Ten has now won back-to-back natties. So you can go Big Ten, SEC. Correct. And then you can go Big 12, ACC, however you want to do it. But that's a commissioner that's saying his quote is maybe the right thing for us to consider.
Right, and
that's extremely vague.
That's
but it still
for
means
this season and the new contract. So the key there is for this season, all FBS conference commissioners have to agree on this. Now, why I said if the power commissioners come to a consensus and they want straight seeding, it will happen because they'll just look at the other conferences, the Group of Five conferences, and they'll just say, you're going to do it because if you don't do it, when the new contract comes in 26, you'll get less money. Right. Because they control the money as well.
And you may not be part of it.
They'll be part. I mean, they'll be part of it because they don't want to. They don't want to exclude them because then you're opening up legal stuff.
Yes, but right now the Group of Five.
But they can say we're going to lessen the amount of money you get. They absolutely can do that. They will do that. Which is why the Group of Five will say whatever you guys want in 2025 will be great, and whatever you want moving forward will be great.
I guess that does seem a little more strong armish.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Well, just rename it then.
That's
just
what it
rename
is.
It's not. It's the SEC Big Ten tournament.
No, I mean the fight is going to be the fight will be for the guaranteed spots. Like the SEC and the Big Ten want the 4-4-2-2-1 formula, which is 4 guaranteed spots for the SEC and the Big Ten, 2 for the ACC, 2 for the Big 12, 1 Group of 5, and then 1 at large, which presumably will be Notre Dame because Notre Dame has been protected.
Yeah, they're special.
So who would have been in it from the Big 12 last year?
But the point is, they're going to go to 16. So when they go to 16,
Arizona State is what you're saying?
Yeah, who else?
Yeah.
So when they go,
Iowa State did not look that good in the end, but that's likely who it would have been.
Okay.
When you go to 16, it's different. Then because if you do simple math, 4 + 4 is 8.
Yeah.
Plus 2 is 10. Plus 1 is 11.
All right,
plus
down.
1 is 12.
All right.
So if you go to 16, then you've got more. You've got more at large then at that point.
Well, of course, yeah.
So in that point, thank you, JJ. So at that point,
simple math.
The ACC and the Big 12 are saying, all right, well, we want more automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
Now, the whole thing is, I think they're going to end up doing the automatic qualifiers unless something federally like, Congress says, okay, you want us to get our hands around NIL and give you federal guidance with this and give you federal guardrails. Okay, we want X. We want a completely free field, 1 through 16. There's no automatic guarantees.
Yeah, there's always going to be a little negotiation that will take place.
No buys. I mean, the first two teams
they're going to get rid of it.
They're going to get rid of the buys.
At least that's the chatter.
It'd be like 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, all the way down that.
When it gets to 16, yeah.
Okay.
My guess is they may go 4. Who knows? Who knows at this point?
I still believe.
Or 2, sorry, not 4, 2.
Yeah, you'd have to do it with 2 and then 5 on 5 games, basically, of 10 of those. Is that right? Yeah. You still are looking at a fairness model that is not going to be fair, okay? There's still going to be some inequality, some inequity as far as what teams bring to the table or what conferences bring to the table versus the other conferences. And there's still going to be, going back to, we're going to use the word flexing about 45 times today.
No, hang on. There would be no, it's going to be 1 versus 16. You can't, there's no way you can do that. You can't do first-round buys is what I'm saying. There's going to be no first-round buys in a 16-team field.
Yeah, and I still feel like it's not necessary, but it's not a bad idea. If you have buys, not saying it has to happen, how quickly would it start the 16-team model after
after the championship game?
Okay, so right into the next Saturday.
Yeah.
Army-Navy gets hosed.
Probably, yeah.
And let's talk about what the NFL is coming out with right now. The NFL is going to...
That's also a problem. The NFL is basically raining on their parade.
Yes, they are.
The NFL is going to force them to play playoff games on Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah, it won't be the first time or the last time the NFL, again, start counting. This is a beer game this afternoon,
but until...
when the NFL starts flexing
unless
on another team.
Unless and until college football just finally steps up for itself and says, we're giving you a free minor league right now. You're not getting charged anything. And then you say, you either let us have this day during this month, or none of your guys are ever coming on our campus again.
Yeah, I'd be
what are they going to say? What's the NFL going to say?
I'm not even saying I love it, but it would be. It'll never happen. It
may. I'm telling you right now, it may, because they saw the television ratings for last year's games when they were going head to head with the NFL. Didn't like it.
Right. Because this is the essence of what we're talking about. The NFL kicks their ass.
Yes, well, that also affects their ability to sell it.
Right. But I just can't imagine a college world, Leon, let's just use you as an example, that you would not want NFL eyes on you as a potential first team or first round draft pick and a first team All-America. You will not go along with your school saying, keep them out. Because
it defeats the purpose.
Yes.
The whole purpose behind going to a school like Miami, getting that exposure, playing my tail off, and winning championships is to get the exposure of the NFL
to be seen.
Absolutely,
it's about leverage, bro.
It's auditioning. I'm auditioning.
Yeah, but he wants that. Leverage.
I know he does.
That's his leverage.
I know he does. But my point is, if you're college football, you say you're not on campus. Not only are you not on campus for practice, you're not on campus for our spring practices. You're not on campus for our games. You cannot come to campus or come to our games to recruit and evaluate our players. You cannot do it. We're not giving you game tape. We're not giving you anything.
It's comical. I love the idea, but it's comical to think that someone is going to try and bully the bully. You're not bullying the bully. You're just asking for them to get off that day. That's all. Right now, based on this schedule, they're telling you they don't give a rat.
Yes, I know. Okay. That's kind of my point.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what I'm saying. So you can hypothesize what you think they might do.
But my point is they've never done that. College football has never stood up to the NFL. They have some leverage. If they did that, they have a little leverage.
Indy Racing, a long time ago, Cowart stepped up and said, we need more young American open wheel racers. And then the death of Indy
But they're
Racing
not they weren't the minor league feeding into the open wheels. This is literally the minor league feeding into the NFL.
I go back to the player on a college campus.
If the college teams were to do that, they would have to do it collectively. It can't be sporadically.
Of course.
Because then they were used as a recruiting vice. If this school and that school was doing it.
100% yes.
The other schools would say, well, we're letting this.
We'll give you.
We'll give you this.
Because hear what Matt's saying. No tape of Leon Searcy to the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Dallas Cowboys or whatever. Oh, no. Player's going to say, that's BS.
Right, but I got news for you. If they're all together, if every college team is together,
they'll do it collectively.
Then the NFL's saying no tape.
It's a nice idea.
You know how you get there? You get there with the czar of college football. You get there with Nick Saban being the czar of college football,
Maybe.
or commissioner, whatever you want to call him. And he goes over to Roger Goodell and he says, Roger, you're not on our campuses.
Yeah.
You're not getting any tape. You're not getting anything unless you get off that day. And you know what Roger will do?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get off the day.
Yeah. No, Roger will say, okay, we've been talking about this NFL Europe thing. Let's just go ahead and start bringing them over like the NBA's bringing
I'm
them
telling you, if they did that, the NFL would get off that day.
I don't think
at
so.
least one of the days. They
I
would,
love
at
it.
least one of them.
Maybe. I love it, but it's a good argument to have. But you know what this is? The last 2 weeks of social media, it's 100 men versus the gorilla. The NFL's still the gorilla. Okay? It's still the
There's
gorilla.
no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. All I'm saying is if you have that card and they have that card, collectively they have that card.
Right.
Use it.
But it even when they had their own night, when it came to, this is why they're operating a little bit in fear. When they had their own night and they had two marquee brands against one another, Ohio State v.
Got
Notre
crushed.
Dame, and their ratings, comparatively speaking, sucked.
Right. That's my point.
That was a damning thing for college football.
It's a damning thing not because it shows the difference between the NFL and college football. It's a damning thing because they sell their game to not only the TVs and whoever produces their games, ESPN, Fox, NBC, CBS, any streaming company, okay? It also affects their individual advertising.
Yeah.
That's how they make money.
Yeah.
So at some point, they have to face the gorilla because it's affecting their bottom line.
Yeah, I really would like to see something like that happen because I do feel like they have basically walked into every neighborhood and mafia style just basically taken over.
They totally have, yes.
I watched old Sly with the first episode of the second season of Tulsa King last night. They are not happy in Oklahoma.
No, let me tell you something.
Sly coming into town.
They commandeered Thursday from college football.
Yeah, they did.
They changed the dynamics of Thursday night football.
And we had some great games on Thursday night going back in time. That what was it? Was it Florida Mississippi State disaster on Thursday night? Was it?
Yeah, and guess what? Those Thursday night games are now not considered like marquee games in these television packages because the NFL plays on Thursday now.
Yeah,
sometimes twice.
That's what I'm saying. What you said is they took it from them, but I'm just going back in time. Remember, Florida v. Mississippi State. It was one of the crazier games. FSU against Virginia all the way back.
Great game.
It was a great game. And
it was college football's Monday Night Football is what it was.
And it's
and
now,
it quickly was becoming that. And then the NFL said, oh, God, look at that.
Yeah.
Let's make some money.
Yeah.
And then they took it from them.
And now college is like Friday.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now college.
And NFL take that too.
Yeah, they're ripping high schools off.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
They needed Joe Pesci, the NFL.
It's the truth.
They got Saban. If Saban becomes the commissioner, I'm telling you, he will make that happen.
Yeah. Let's hope. We'll see. But again, it's a lot of pie in the sky when anyone wants to take on the National Football League. That's for sure. It is XL Primetime. We need to look at the miles that these teams are going to be flying, including your Jacksonville Jaguars, when they get their schedule released later tonight.
4 balls, 3 strikes, 2 teams, 1 winner. 1010XL.
It's back. Mia here. The Summer Starts Here event is hot and going on now at Arlington Toyota. Why should you buy from Arlington? How about over 800 vehicles in one location and 60-day exchange? Buy it, take it home. If it's not right for you, you have 60 days to exchange it. Plus, right now, get financing as low as 0% on select new models. Shop Summer Starts Here at Arlington Toyota. In person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east, 295, or at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. There was a time if you handed me a bread basket at a restaurant, I would just annihilate that thing. Pizza, pasta, bread, carbs are absolutely my weakness. I'd be lying if I said they didn't have me hooked. And Awaken 180 came into my life. I've been down every diet road there is, but this one is different. It's not just another diet. It's a total reset of how you see food. You know that carb craving we've all accepted as normal? That's gone. Look, I still enjoy the good stuff, but here's the difference. I no longer feel like I need those carbs. So when the server puts down that bread basket on the table, I just walk away. I'm good, man. That feeling of control, everyone, is all thanks to Awaken 180. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180. Hacker lost more than 110. Well, lose well on his way, and you can lose whatever you want. It doesn't matter what your goal weight is. Awaken 180 weight loss will get you there quickly and safely. It's a clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180 has changed my life, and it will change yours too. Give them a call, 844-346-1800, or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs. Get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months on select compact tractors. See details at KubotaOrangeDays.com. Come to Coastal Equipment this Saturday from 9 to 2 for huge discounts, lunch, and more. 5463 Woodlawn Cemetery Road, McClenny.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Plumbing problems? AC not blowing? Septic tank doing whatever septic tanks do? Don't call 3 different companies and play contractor roulette. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. Waddle over to duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 14, 1913, Washington Senators pitcher Walter Johnson had his MLB record of 56 scoreless innings snapped, giving up a run to the St. Louis Browns.
Need cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash, and they're ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. And gold market prices are at a record high. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. COYLE Jacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
All right, we're back in XLP. Matt Hayes, Joe Cowart, Leon Searcy. Sirs, Big Sirs, This is your guy on the phone.
Absolutely.
Why don't you do the honors?
All right. We've got Coach O on the phone lines right now. Coach and I won championships together at University of Miami. He went out to LSU to win one of his own. I remember you, Coach O, said, Cortez Kennedy, you come off the ball like a bowling ball and butcher knives. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. It's always great to hear your voice, Leon.
Great to have you.
For the man that you are.
Great to have you on, Coach. Look, Coach, I tell you, I'll be online sometimes. I'll be watching the spring ball at Miami. I see you out there on the field, so I'm wondering if you have that urge to dip your toe back in the water.
Hey, Leon, when I walked on Green Tree practice field the first time, after about 25 years, I smelled that grass, man. It was the same grass, the same smell we had when y'all were there. I got a little fired up, I got to admit it. But you know what? I'm kind of just sitting to the side. I watched two of my boys they're both young analysts. Mario has been great to me, so I enjoy going to watch practice.
Nice, Coach. Hey, Coach, I'm gonna ask you this question. So we had Mario on the show yesterday, and he was telling me about the intensity of practice, the competitiveness on the field. Now he said remind him of days of old. Now you were there in the days of old when we got after it. Did you see that kind of competition with the Hurricanes this spring?
I don't think I've ever seen anything in my life like y'all had, Leon. I'll be honest with you, and I don't know if I ever going to see it again. But I will say this. I've seen the talent level get better and better each year. As you know, Mario is a relentless recruiter. We just got committed the number one player in the country. Now, as you know, the better the talent, the better the competition is going to be. So I think the competition level, the practices have changed since he's been there. Are they there where y'all were there? Not yet. Maybe some of the time, but not all the time.
So, Eddie, Leon likes to talk about the conditioning he did at Miami, and we'd love it if you could explain the 16 110s that they used to run.
Beautiful. Hey, look, that was Coach Johnson's baby now. hey, Lee, you remember the intensity of that day? That was game day, man. And but you know, our guys trained. You know, our guys trained all summer, and we used to say the heat is our friend. And in order to be our friend, we need to spend a lot of time with it. And our guys, y'all remember Coach Roll, and we had a great strength coach, and they would run and they would train. And, you know, it was a physical test, but it was also a mental test. Because all the coaches were watching. You had to make it in 17 or 19 seconds. You had to run across the line, no bending over. So the pressure was on. But our guys did a tremendous job of doing it, especially the big men.
Now, Coach, I remember I didn't sleep well the night before. Always never slept well, Coach. Because there's a lot of pressure when those 16 110s. And Coach is right. Coach is right. The physical, we knew that we were in shape physically because we ran so much. But the mental strain that Jimmy Johnson put on us as far as you had to cross the line, couldn't bend over. Because if you bend over and you didn't cross the line, he wouldn't just give you an extra one. He would give the whole group an extra one.
Hey, and you know, that intensity was set by Jimmy. You know, Leon, when I walked on the field at the University of Miami for my first day as a young coach, and I saw Coach Johnson and his staff coach, nobody had to tell me how to coach again. I got it. It was clear.
That's beautiful. We're talking with Ed Orgeron. We love we play a drop from Eddie O. We have to play it for you just so you can laugh a little bit. But when you think about, Coach, what it was then and what you accomplished in 19 and what it is now, how much harder is it to win it all now versus back then, or is it basically still the same?
Well, you know, obviously things change. You know, I studied Coach Johnson, and I got the blueprint from him. And, you know, I got the blueprint. And, you know, when we went to USC, me and Pete kind of followed. I think Butch had like 7 first-round draft choices. And we followed the recruiting and the blueprint. And then when I went to LSU, I had a chance to put it all together. So I got to give those guys the credit for learning the blueprint of what it took to have a national championship team. Now, I'm not going to say it's harder. I'm not going to say it's easy. But it is different. Mm-hmm. And the thing is different is the NIL and the transfer portal. And I'm glad I coached in the age I coached. And but you know, I told my sons, even though things have changed, now it's time for the guys that are young guys to understand how to navigate through the new rules, the NIL, the transfer portal, to have success.
Now, Coach, I know the landscape with NIL has changed, but I'm a bit of old school, and I can't imagine a kid coming to your office or Coach Johnson's office and say, "Hey, Coach, the way I played last year, I'm gonna need a raise. I'm gonna need a bump in salary."
Hey, it is, you know, it is different. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I tell you what, I think as the game changes, coaching. It doesn't mean you can't coach them hard. It doesn't mean you have to you can do the same things we did in Miami and LSU. But I think when it gets off the field, you need to be a little bit more flexible to the NIL and the transfer portal. It doesn't mean you need to be like it, but the people that are flexible and can go with it are going to have success.
Hey, Ed, you were very successful as an interim coach at a highly pressurized job at USC. You were very successful at a highly pressurized job at LSU. What now do you think Brian Kelly's going through? He's lost the season opener 3 straight years. They got to go play at Clemson week 1. What kind of pressure is he feeling right now?
Well, I just know this. The expectations at LSU are number one or nothing. I mean, that's it. LSU is, they expect you to win the national championship. Now, they don't expect you to win it every year. But Coach Saban won it in his 3rd year. Les Miles won it in my 3rd year. And I won it in the 3rd year. So the expectations are high there. I think he's got a really good team. He's got a really good quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier. You know, he's got a tough opener in Clemson. So I think that the expectations bring on a lot of pressure, especially when you haven't won a championship yet. The pressure there is to win the championship.
So, Coach, when you think about that 2019 team, it is so funny. 14 players were drafted off of that team. Jacksonville, unfortunately, we had the bad luck of Kayvon Chason just not panning out here the way we were hoping. But how flipping good was that football team that you constructed, beginning with Burrow and Chase and company?
It was really, you know, the offense. The offense was one of the best offenses that obviously been around. It was because of Joe. But it wasn't only him. You know, we had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, come on, you know. Hey, here was the game plan. First of all, hey, Lee, first of all, if the bus left at 2:30, I rode the first bus. You know, Lee, I used to be on that defensive bus, but I had to wear the first bus to be the head coach. And look, I got on the bus. I made sure Joe was on the bus. If Joe wasn't on the bus wasn't leaving, Lee. I told the bus driver he was early. but the bad thing is, me and him were the first one on the bus anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and we got to the stadium. I said, hey, Joe, throw the ball to Jamar. If he ain't open, throw it to Justin Jefferson. If they ain't open, give it to Clyde. Ready, break.
Love it. Hey, Coach, I'm that LSU team in 2019, Coach, is probably the most dominant offensive team in college football history. I mean, what were you able? I mean, because I know at Miami, the one thing that we did that made us successful all those years is that Coach Johnson never made it comfortable for us. He always had something for us to reach further for. I mean, was that your philosophy while you was at LSU?
You said it. At the beginning of the year, I said, we're going to set the LSU standard of performance. It's elite. We only got one goal, man, and that's it. And I expect everybody in this organization on a daily basis to work at an elite level. And it's my job as the head football coach to hold y'all accountable and hold me accountable. And, Leon, you're like this. I told the best players, expect me to coach you the hardest. And just like Coach Johnson did, you know that. Mm-hmm. So, now, some teams you can say that, some things you can't, but that team, I knew we had a great team. And so we set the expectations early, and I wasn't going to let go of that rope.
And how did you convince Joey to come to LSU? What was your main pitch to him?
Well, you know, he gets on the recruiting trip, and he comes to me. He goes, "Hey, Coach, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear all this recruiting stuff. You're a great recruiter." I looked at him. I said, I held my tongue. You know what I mean? I was like, wait a minute. You ain't going to come here telling me that. He said, "Coach, all I want to do is talk football and eat crawfish." I said, "We can do that." The next morning, we had a football meeting. His dad was in there. You all know Jerry Sullivan works with y'all, Steve Ensminger, me. There had about 10 people in there. And it took me about 3 minutes to figure out that Joe Burrow was the smartest one in the room. And I was okay with that. You know what I mean? And then that night, we go to eat crawfish, and my recruiting, online recruiting girl comes up to me and says, "Coach, they ran out of crawfish." I said, "No problem. Call Boudreaux, my friend. tell them to cook 40 pounds of crawfish and bring it through the kitchen and put it on the trays, baby. Yeah. Hey, Lee, you got to think on your feet, man.
That's right.
But look, me and Joe had a conversation that night. I said, Joe, you're going to have to earn your spot here. But I do believe you're the best quarterback on my roster. And I got two receivers. You don't know about them yet. Their name is Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. And they're a lot better than what you got at Ohio State. Joe, you come here, we're going to win the national championship. And that was a private conversation me and him had. And I think that he saw that he had the opportunity to do great things at LSU.
What happened in your mind between year one and year two of Joe Burrow in Baton Rouge? Because it was a skyrocket.
We went to the spread. We hired Joe Brady.
Yeah.
We went to the spread offense. Steve Ensminger. Look, we won 80% of our game with Steve Ensminger as offensive coordinator. But we were trying to play at Alabama. We were trying to out-physical them. That year, we didn't score any points. And I went to him after the game. I said, Steve, we got to go to the spread. He goes, I'm in. I said, let's find somebody that can teach us the spread offense. And Joe Brady was a young coach that we knew of. And we hired him, and he did a phenomenal job of teaching us the spread offense. And that was Joe's baby. You know, we ran some lookovers. And look, hey, we give a fake snap count lead, and if they stayed in the same defense, Joe would shred them. And that was a great offense for him.
Coach, I got to ask you this question. 01 Canes versus 19 LSU, who wins?
You know, I get that. I ask that a lot. And, I don't know. I'm not gonna pick one or the other. As you know, that game's got to be won on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday, a team can win. I know this. That 01 team had a great defense and some great defensive players. To be honest, Lee, our defense wasn't the best defense we've had at LSU. And but that offense was something else. You know what I'm saying? And Joe gave us the confidence that we're going to win any game. I think it'd be a hell of a game. I think that's up for people to debate. I'm not going to debate it. I'm just glad we're in the talk.
Okay. Oh, Coach Kelly could use some of that LSU defense on the field this year. All right, so you'll love this, Coach. So Lee put together a mythical national championship tournament, and it was the Searcy Sweet 16, and it ended up being the 19 LSU Tigers, and we called them, like you said, the greatest offense I think any of us have ever seen. Yeah. But it was a battle all the way to the end, them and the Canes and the 96 Gators, Coach.
Hey, look, I'm with it. I agree. And look, that's the best thing about college football. Man, we talk about it, we project it, we love it, but you never know until the game's played on the field.
That's true. That's true. Well, now, Coach, it's always a pleasure, Coach. I'm glad you came on the show. Always a pleasure. Always good talking to you, Coach.
Man, y'all need me, y'all call me anytime. Utmost respect. Hey, guys, I remember a young Leon Searcy. Man, you had some big feet, Lee, 17 and a half.
Yeah,
I remember that, man. Hey, but hey, Lee, you're a red shirt. I get to coach you on the scout team, man.
I remember
that, Lee?
I remember the scout team, Coach. It was brutal. We was going against the number one defense every day in practice.
That's right. And you become a man there. You remember that?
I remember.
Hey, I was with you, man. Hey, Lee, come on, man. Let's go, man. Yes, sir. All you do is say, yes, sir, and you win as hard as you can. And look at the player you became, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, man, all of us together, man. Hey, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I got it rough. I went run down to South Point, 4.2 miles. It's a slow jog. And now I got to decide if I'm going to go to the pool or the beach.
Oh, yeah. That's the best. That's the best.
All right, guys. Talk to y'all later, man.
All right, Coach. You got it.
That's just awesome. He just got that personality, that love, zest for life, huh? That's just awesome.
You know what was great was like when LSU fired him, he was like, I'm just going to go eat a cheeseburger, man.
Yeah.
It's going to buy me a lot of cheeseburgers with that $18 million.
Oh, yeah. Something else. And he's at peace.
Yeah.
He's not churning and burning inside to go do something. And he said when he was talking about that top recruit and whatnot. So it's more you than it is.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
LSU or any of those other.
Well, now that his son works there, too,
Exactly.
I'm sure that helps.
That's a much bigger deal right now. All right, very cool. Eddie-O, Big Sur set him up. We're going to get a couple other of your legends on with us over the next handful of days and weeks. Which
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to it. Golf Club of Southampton Wednesday. Don't forget, call 287-PLAY. Jump on the tee sheet tonight, little 9 after 5. You can talk some ball out there, that's for sure. 9-hole game. They got a skins game. You're trying to win some of the skins, but they'll also do a random drawing for some of that skins dinero, food, and prizes afterwards. So call 287-PLAY. Get in the 9 after 5.
And now, the starting lineup.
The Drill Mornings. Jaguars today, 10 to noon. Helmets and heels. Noon to 2. XL Primetime. 2 to 4. The Frangie Show. 4 to 6. Into the night with Rick Ballou and Hacker. After dark. Evenings on 1010 XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
Hi, folks. It's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee & Kate's Glass. Those beautiful custom glass shower enclosures, maybe a new mirror, a glass tabletop. They can even replace your foggy or cracked glass without having to replace the whole window. Lee & Kate's is local. They're family-owned. They've been a part of our community since 1926. Boy, they've taken care of me, including our brand-new offices at Walk-Off Charities. They did a great job. I promise they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
Your yard starting to look a little like a jungle? Well, it might be time for a little TLC. Or how about RTC, Russell Tree Care? At Russell Tree Care, they give your trees the perfect haircut. Whether it's trimming or removing, they'll make sure your yard looks its best, all while keeping safety as a top priority. Call Russell Tree Care today and let them take care of your trees. Russell Tree Care, 844-4Mr. Wood. That's 844-467-9663. Or visit RussellTreeCareLLC.com today. Your trees will thank you.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today. 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
New coaches, new players, new hope. Exactly. Follow 1010XL's coverage of organized team activities. Cooked up by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Heroes Lawn Care. Tune up the off-season with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
Join us at Miller Electric May 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. We're on the lookout for talented people, from entry level to experienced electricians and foremen, security system installation and service technicians, fire alarm system service technicians, and both senior and junior VDV technicians. This is your chance to get hired on the spot. Meet the managers, indulge in delicious food, and snag some awesome giveaways. Don't miss out on this electrifying chance to power up your career. Miller Electric, May 29th, 4 to 7 p.m., 6805 South Point Parkway.
This spring, the action is non-stop at Best Bet St. Augustine. From heart-pounding daily high hands and tournaments to amazing table games promotions. But that's not all. Immerse yourself in the excitement of your favorite springtime sports at Aces Sports Bar, located in Best Bet St. Augustine. Enjoy a perfect blend of wings, beer, poker, and all the big games on our massive screens. For a full rundown of all the action and how you can be a part of it, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Prosser here. Spring has sprung, and it's a great time to sell your house, but only if you have the very best on your side, and those very best are Chad and Sandy Newman. Spring selling season's here. Rates are down. Activity's up. It's the best time in years to sell your home, in fact, but there are homes sitting on the market. They don't have the right representation. That's where Chad and Sandy step in. Maybe you're worried your home needs repairs or updating and it won't sell for a good price. Maybe your family's growing and you need more space. Whatever the reason that you need to sell your home, Chad and Sandy deliver this promise to you. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Sounds pretty hassle-free to me. Take it from Mike and Rosemary in St. Augustine. We were determined to buy an affordable home in a specific school zone, but we didn't qualify for the loan needed to get one. Chad and Sandy's team worked with the lender, negotiated a higher qualification price, lower interest. It was huge, $200 less per month. Do it today. Call 414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks, and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Want a simple way to boost your company's image without a big renovation? A fresh paint job in your brand's colors can increase recognition up to 80%. At Performance Painting, we help companies stand out with clean, on-brand finishes that impress clients and energize employees. From color consultations to low-odor coatings that won't disrupt operations, we've got you covered. Visit performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, visit my buddy Dr. McGowan at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. You have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits, even if you're at fault. And no matter what you hear, you have the right to choose your own doctor. So I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Their auto experts will guide you in every step of the way to ensure the care that you need. Your recovery starts with McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. The Florida Gators men's golf team continued to dominate Gold Mountain Country Club at the NCAA Burr Merton Regional on Tuesday, highlighted by Matthew Kress's career-low bogey-free 7-under 65, putting him at solo 1, 10 under for the tournament, and right behind him is Luke Poulter, who's 9 under for the tournament. With Gators sitting at 1, 2, T9, T16, and T48, they have a 10-shot lead after day 2 of the regional at 26 under par, with Arizona State in second at 16 under. The top 5 schools in the tournament will advance to the NCAA Championships, which will be held at Omni La Costa in California from May 23rd through May 28th. It's 86 degrees at 3:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Who lit it up last night? Brought to you by American-Electrical.com.
Jerome blocked by Halliburton. Halliburton on the push to the lays it in. Tyrese Halliburton at both ends. Off the rim. Caruso flies in. Home run.
I knew when Caruso started making plays that things were really starting to go right for Indiana. Didn't see as much of that in a Lakers uniform. That's a total aside. Last night, Indiana dispatches Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers, basically ending what was supposed to be something special for them. But what has been special, honestly, the Indiana Pacers, big, they
look good, bro.
And is Tyrese Halliburton kind of rewriting his story?
Yeah, they look good, man. I mean, I was surprised the way they dismantled Cleveland the way they did. Cleveland had a good year, man. They had a great year.
Yes.
In the regular season. Then they get in the playoffs, man, and they just get worked.
So they were the top seed, Cleveland was. So just let me give you some numbers. The Pacers now 8-2 against Giannis and the number 1 seed. And they just ran Cleveland right out of there.
Is that a matchup issue for them, you think?
Yeah. I tell you what, I don't know, but they're a great story. Okay, you've got to give them credit because they're not the marquee, and everyone's going to be saying this is going to suck if it's OKC in Indiana. But they started 10-15 in the regular season, and they finished 40-17, including the playoffs, 42-15. They're doing work.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you what the NBA wants on the East Side, and I want it too. I want a little nostalgia.
Yeah.
I want Knicks in Indiana.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's back in the day.
2000.
Yeah, I like that. That's back in the day. I like that kind of ball.
Reggie versus
Starks.
Reggie.
Like Allen Houston. No, that was not John Starks.
Yeah.
It wasn't John Starks?
No. That was...
was it Miller?
That was like...
it was Miller,
Allen
Starks,
Houston and Sprewell and Mark Jackson, and Starks was like maybe 5-6 years before that. Starks was against Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we mixed them all together.
Yeah.
In our memory bank. But yeah, I just the Reggie games against New York, definitely classic. And heck, you may have a little bit of a rebirth when it comes to what Indiana's doing. But you have to give them credit, that's for sure. And then we'll see how it unfolds with Boston. Are they done? Are they done? Are they done? They definitely lost Jason Tatum, and that did not help. American Electrical, they can light up your world just like Indiana lit it up last night. American-electrical.com, especially if you are looking for a career, they can help start that career electrically for you. And then, of course, residential, commercial, anything in the way of a trusted company powered by professionalism. Make sure you check out American Electrical. So Eddie Orgeron, when he comes on, is electric. Okay, he just makes you smile. He gets a little energy in the room, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. And he comes in with that fire. And what type of personality must he have been to play for? And let's just compare him real quick to what Brian Kelly is doing there. Brian Kelly is different. He can be animated at times. He can be fiery in a totally different way. And sometimes maybe people look at it in a negative way. But Eddie O, are they the polar opposites?
I don't know. Eddie's demanding. I'm sure.
But we never really saw him lose it or anything like that. Did?
Yeah. He lost it a couple times there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to picture.
Well, I mean,
personality-wise.
Well, I mean, he was there at Miami as a coach, but you got to remember at Miami he was a graduate assistant initially, and then he was a assistant defensive line coach. So, I mean, he didn't invoke any kind of real power when he was at Miami because he was under the tutelage of other coaches that were in front of him. The only fire that I got from Eddie O was like when he said he used to run them scout teams for me, and you had to give a look, and he would get us all involved. I mean, he would basically
motivate.
He would send us on missions that we probably couldn't walk away from. Let me just say, I was saying because he's enticing a group of players on the offensive side of the ball to go up against the number one defense in the country every day in practice.
Right.
So I mean, he sent us on. I don't want to say those. I don't want to say the word, but those missions.
Of course,
classic. It's classic.
Yeah. But I will say this, Joe. You don't have the success he had there, and I know Joe Burrow is a once in a lifetime quarterback. I get that. But you don't have the success he had there. You don't hold that team together, and they don't go unbeaten, and they don't do what they did.
Oh,
if you don't have a complete thumb on that team.
But I guess what I'm saying is that Brian Kelly looks a lot angrier than Eddie O does.
Because he's not winning like he should.
Exactly. Yeah. And he looked angrier and angrier the more the opening season losses started to pile up
which
against
makes this
him.
one just
and he's got
critical.
This is tiger on tiger crime. This is Death Valley versus Death Valley.
This game is, put it this way. I was talking to my editor about a week ago. He's like, listen, come up with a list of games you absolutely have to go to. Number one on the list is LSU at Clemson. Number one.
Yeah.
That's the game you got to be at.
And can't wait. And this is, even though we typically view SEC versus ACC, it's going to land on the Southeastern Conference side. This is a big one for that. For the Clemson Invitational crew, it is a massive game.
It's also, it could be down the road you're choosing between two teams.
Seating wise.
You're choosing between two teams as far as are you getting in or out.
Yeah.
Guess what else? Florida, Miami also could be a game where you might be choosing between one or two teams. Are they in or are they out?
Yeah.
So you can't look past these non-conference games early. You can't think, well, you can lose and still be okay.
No.
There's a lot going on. A lot going on when you get to November. And that's, we argued about this forever for, previous years about was it going to make college football better or not? And the best thing about college football was every week mattered, and it still does. And you get to November now, and now more games of every week matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the pathway to like you said, the pathway to the bracket could essentially be determined. Now you got to win the rest of the games, but of
course, yeah.
You get style points in playing these type of games: Clemson versus LSU, Miami versus Notre Dame, all those type of games. So, how you win in those games early on could dictate whether. Now it depends on the rest of the season, or whether you get the nod or you don't get the nod into the playoffs.
If LSU goes in and beats Clemson in Clemson, And then Clemson goes 11-1, wins the ACC, and Clemson's in. And LSU's 9-3.
Major feather.
And you're debating LSU 9-3 LSU versus, I don't know, 10-2 Illinois. Who do you think's going to get that?
Exactly. Major feather. So you threw the schedule at us earlier, that first week 0, week 1, but I'm zeroing in on week 1, of course. Syracuse, Tennessee, that game is in Atlanta.
Also a very dicey game now for Tennessee.
Because Fran Brown wants to make sure that he follows what he did last year with Will McCord and company, and he doesn't necessarily know exactly how his quarterback position is going to play out, but Tennessee definitely doesn't know exactly.
I'm impressed with what he was. Listen. It was like I was listening to Jimmy Johnson because he's like, what have we done?
Yeah.
We went 8-4. What have we done? We haven't done anything.
You're trying to
we got nothing to celebrate.
Yeah.
Trying to compliment me for losing 4 games. And then he say people ask him, look at the schedule and how many games you think you're going. Why would you ask me that to say we're going to lose 4 games?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Who
love
does that?
That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
By the way, his quarterback is Ricky Collins, who was Brian Kelly's first quarterback recruit at LSU.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so he ended up moving on.
Moved on. Now he's at Syracuse. Yeah.
And look, like we said, Will McCord was a good player,
Kyle McCord.
but there was
You're mixing Kyle McCord and Will Howard there is what you're doing.
Holy cow. Yeah, Kyle
Which
McCord.
again, all I've said over and over is had Kyle McCord stayed there, they'd have done the same thing. They'd have won it all.
They would have won it all. Yep. And Kyle McCord would have been viewed much differently
yes,
and drafted much higher.
Definitely. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, Fran did coach Kyle up to be an appetizing draft choice.
And guess what? I found that interview. I hadn't seen it before. I saw that interview with a kid from asked for $2 million. And he was like,
The receiver,
Jeremiah. Yeah, you're not Jeremiah Smith. We're not giving you $2 million. You can take your walking papers.
I'm not giving any wide receiver.
I ain't giving no wide receiver $2 million.
I love that, but it's easy to say when you don't have $2 million to give to that wide receiver.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
But
the money's not there.
You don't know that. They might have some money. You don't know that.
But honestly, they're
Syracuse football.
I know. I understand what you're saying, but you have no idea if they don't have one booster that they could go to in case they really need somebody.
Maybe, but I still appreciate the fact that he's like, I probably don't have as much of a chance of getting him as others do. So I'm just going to go ahead and send a message through him right now.
Now, JJ, if your point is he's saying, I'm barely paying the guys I have now. You want me to have one guy that makes $2 million and everybody else makes $30,000? No way. That I agree with.
Yeah, and he's basically saying Syracuse is not going to be built overnight or one season under Fran Brown and new finances to basically change their course of history. But Syracuse basketball, we know how uber important that is, and now he's trying to make football important. And he needs to manage all those guys. He can't have one heavy locker room spot taking up all of his dollars, and because he's
not the only one. I got news for you.
But it'll cause the problem we talk about when one guy walks in making money and the other guys are not.
Let me tell you something. That's the case that you could go Louisville, Kentucky. You can go at a lot of schools that you wouldn't think would have that situation.
Yeah,
Minnesota.
Any of the programs that aren't at the top.
Michigan State,
yeah.
Believe me, a lot of these programs are dealing with that. Like you're bringing guys in that are getting these big paydays, and the guys you've recruited and developed are seeing this, and they're like, well, I've been here for 3 years, and I've busted my ass.
Right.
I've done everything you've wanted. I'm a starter. I'm an all-conference player. Where's my money?
Right. What's going on? What's going on? So let's just tie it back real quick. If Joey Burrow had walked into Eddie O's office and said the question you posed, like just imagine if he laid down the gauntlet and said, I need X, X, and X, or I'm not coming back. That's today's world.
You know what Eddie would have done? He'd have called the biggest boosters at LSU and said,
Probably.
if we let this guy walk, we're idiots.
Probably.
And they would have come up with the money.
Yeah. But who knows how long something like that lasts?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it's in a lot of ways, if you know you got that star, which Joey Burrow was, he said, we're gonna make it work, and we're not gonna let anyone else know about it.
Especially at that position, like you can't, like I don't care who you are, if you got that guy at that position, you can't let him go.
Yeah.
Like whatever he wants, you got to pay him.
Even more
I got news for you. If Lagway has like his special season and they somehow get to the playoff, how much do you think he's going to make in year 3 at Florida?
I don't know, Beckish type of money.
He's the only guy in that roster that has a multi-year contract, NIL deal. The only guy. So he has the
Him
deal.
and Jalen Rashada, they still.
He has the deal. Okay, but my point is, if he does that in year 2, he's going to want more money.
Probably.
Yeah. So they're going to have to, find more money.
I don't mind renewals and escalators and contracts as long as the guys don't hold teams up and they stay.
Well, back to Eddie O a little bit. You have to be impressed that he was able to find 40 pounds of crawfish, though.
Oh my God,
that was fantastic.
And he went.
I knew he would have a good anecdote. That's why I asked him how. He
Yeah,
did.
but you know, there 40 pounds of crawfish is like you could find 40 pounds of sand.
That's
here
like finding
pretty easily.
That's like getting a 3-piece at Popeye.
Plus, if you got 10 guys,
on
you
the
can go
street in New
through. You
York.
can go through 40 pounds of crawfish with 10 guys quickly.
Oh yeah.
Quickly.
I also love that Burrow was like, "Hold the crap, bro. I
Right.
don't need to hear
Right, I
your
just wanna eat
recruiting
crawfish."
crap."
But in the end, what Eddie O said to him, was the best piece of recruiting. That's all it was. Let's go win us a championship,
Right?
And that's it. You're gonna be throwing to these two guys, and it's gonna be good. So you want to be on the good end of that one. All right. So just think about that. We'll stay on that subject coming up in just a bit, because when you think he mentioned two guys that were on the Jag staff, and Jerry Sullivan and Paul Boudreaux back in the day, which was kind of interesting. It is XL Primetime Golf Club of Southampton Wednesday. Some serious injuries, including Jason Tatum. We'll talk about them with our man Gio coming up.
Early afternoon means lunchtime.
Hey, want to get some lunch?
Have lunch with your friends.
So you got any good friends in your life?
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Helmets and heels. I can't believe we're doing this. This is the kind of thing they do in the movies.
Weekdays noon to 2 on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. I've known the Parman family for years, and what stands out is how they run Big Chief Tire. It's not just about tires. It's about showing up, doing the work, and taking care of people. That's the culture they've built over 4 generations. When you walk into Big Chief, you're treated with honesty, respect, and real hometown service. That's how Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling. Schedule your next appointment at WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval! Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval? That's right, man. I really identify with Duval. You live in St. John's County, knucklehead. I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up. The boss. Because, of course, oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me. That's just not true. What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss." Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you. Go find yours. They may even make you a boss. I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash. Where more is better. And you got that right.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
We know who they play, and now we'll finally find out when. Join 1010XL all day Thursday for the big reveal. Open by Renewal by Anderson, Custom Windows and Doors, and Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
I'm Chris Campione. Veterans have given so much in the service of our country, but when it comes to legal challenges, you shouldn't have to fight alone. At Campione Law, we're here to help veterans like you get the support and compensation you deserve. Whether it's a workplace injury, a personal injury claim, or navigating a veteran's disability claim, we'll stand by your side every step of the way. Your service to our country matters. Let us serve you with the dedication and respect you deserve. Call Campione Law for a free consultation today. Campione Law, fighting for veterans, fighting for justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Campione Law.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my success with back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Jacksonville, you know a good defense wins games, and a good fence protects your home. Frank Frangie here. Coil Fencing has been around the block since 1927. Literally, they probably fenced it too. From tough chain length to sleek aluminum fences your HOA will love, Coil is the name to trust. Nearly a century strong and still standing tall. Call Coil today. You can trust them. Call 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E Jacks.com.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is Max Fink with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at KuhnFlowers.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Our next guest is not affiliated with the NFL or Jacksonville Jaguars.
Discussion of injuries is solely based on opinion.
Now, the Bari Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Injury Breakdown.
I'm coming in hot.
He's coming in hot. Gio! How you doing, man? Good. He comes in here to relax with us, okay? Because he's working his fanny off over there at Bari Orthopedics.
My lunch break.
This is his lunch break, an energy bar and XLP, okay? If you have a sports injury question, you got aches, pains, we have a couple from last week we want to get to, 641-1010. You can hit us with a little free medical advice from Dr. George Bari.
There could be worse lunch breaks, by the way.
Yeah.
Energy bar and XLP.
Yeah, exactly. We are your energy bar.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so he's doubling.
Let's go. Suck it up, Gio. Let's go, man.
He's doubling right now. All right. We need to start with Jason Tatum. And they even put out a picture of him from the recovery room. Thanks for all the support. My immediate question, well, actually twofold. Go to the injury first when you saw it.
Yeah.
And we all, like Leon, whenever you had an injury, did it look really bad initially, or just like, in other words, you're like, how did that happen? How did something that
They hurt
severe-
like hell, okay?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
But it did it like from the outside looking in, did it like, gosh, it didn't even look that bad?
Never.
No?
No.
Because the Tatum move does
Certainly
not
didn't look that
bad.
bad. Right.
Oh, he went down very quickly.
Oh, he
though,
did. Oh, there's no doubt.
Immense
It
pain.
happened.
Yeah.
But how crazy is this?
It's one. We've seen this. I think last year, the year before, some guy on the Super Bowl running from the sideline.
Yeah,
I mean,
all he did was jump.
It's one of those freak things that, unfortunately, it's almost like I think about it like Final Destination. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
What
right?
about with fatigue?
No one touched him and it just
It's
popped.
a pretty morbid analogy there, Gio.
What was it, JJ? With
What
fatigue?
about, like, could fatigue have been
No,
something?
I mean, usually it's from eccentric force. I mean, when you think about it in the office, it's usually like a male in his 30s playing basketball. That's like the most common thing. I don't think Tatum is that old yet, but it happens. We've seen it before, and he wasn't even doing anything crazy, I don't think.
Let me ask you something. And I've always thought about this. Why can't, as physicians, as orthopedic surgeons, why can't
Talking
you?
to me and
why can't
Gio.
you? Yeah,
Radio
because
doctor,
you're
right?
a doctor.
Yeah, thank you.
Why can't you predict that? Like, is it because does it just snap, or is it at some point it goes wear and wear and wear and then snap?
Well, so I mean, you can have both, but normally when we see this, like in these players, if they have no complaints before, it's probably just a snap. I mean, you can have diseased tissue that because it's diseased, it is weaker, and then it can just kind of fray and tear. But we get that a lot, like maybe in the bicep tendon, in the shoulder, rotator cuff tears. That's common, where it's diseased tissue and it ends up fraying
Slowly but surely.
and then tears. We don't know if he had any Achilles pain before this. At least it wasn't talked about. So maybe he had.
So that's the only way you could really predict it, is if they told you
that
I've got problems.
Yes.
And you would think that athletes these days, with all they have going on, any little something that hurts them, they're going to tell you, right?
Right. And I don't think that you could even say, oh, you have Achilles pain, now you're going to have a tear, right?
Right.
Because you would still let him play as long as it's sore. You do some rehab on it and go and play.
Right.
But if you got an MRI and it showed there's partial tearing and there's a lot of signal in it, then maybe that's a different
Then you
story.
look at him and say, hey, man, that thing's about ready.
You feel like you could add wear and tear to your tendon that may set you up for injury. Cartilage, meanwhile, it's not the case. It just decides to give, right? You're not placing wear and tear on your cartilage necessarily.
So cartilage like arthritis is wear and tear,
Mhm.
right? You can also have post-traumatic arthritis. You mean maybe like an ACL,
right?
Right. So ligament
Versus an Achilles.
Right,
Those are the two most popular.
I mean,
big
you can
injuries.
have partial tearing that you hurt it, and then you go out and play, and it makes it worse. But normally ACL and Achilles are just one of those things that it happens, and there's really no prodrome before it to say that, oh, this was going to happen. It's just one of those things that just happens.
All right, so listen to these, okay? You've got, over the course of this season, DeJounte Murray, torn right Achilles. Kyrie Irving, torn left ACL. Dame Lillard, torn left Achilles. Tatum, torn right Achilles. Isaiah Jackson, torn right Achilles. Grant Williams, torn ACL with meniscus damage. You can go down the line. It's just ACL after Achilles, Achilles after ACL.
So I saw someone mention that. I don't know. I'm sure somewhere there's a stat on this year versus last year and the year before, because I know there's actually I think there's an NFL ACL injury Twitter that you can find. I'm sure there's a stat somewhere because somebody was questioning what's happening this year. Did the hardwood change?
Right.
I mean, I don't know that answer, but I bet if you went back and looked, it's probably going to be around the same of what it was the past couple of years.
Okay. All right. 641-1010. If you got a sports injury question, you can throw them our way. We got to mention shockwave therapy, which is what you have brand new in your office. But here's a question. Hey, Gio, I have real bad carpal tunnel. What are my options that are non-surgical?
Yeah. So there's cortisone injection. It does well. You can do a cortisone shot in the office. There's a lot of evidence of a PRP injection. The evidence shows it does better than cortisone, and it lasts longer. And then speaking of shockwave, there's very good evidence on shockwave therapy for carpal tunnel.
Right.
And the studies that are out there are just 1 or 2 sessions, so it's not much. And then they tested them at 24 weeks out, which is about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And they did better than the cortisone shots. And then they actually did a nerve test on them again.
Okay.
And the nerve test had slight improvement on the shockwave as opposed to the cortisone, where there wasn't much improvement on the nerve test. They just felt better. But the shockwave actually did help the nerve test. I'm not saying that is going to cure you, but it is definitely an option, that and PRP and cortisone, if you have maybe mild to moderate carpal tunnel or you're not ready for surgery yet.
Right.
It can definitely help you. And the PRP and shockwave do better than cortisone, but cortisone is definitely an option.
Just explain carpal tunnel just real quick.
Yeah, so you have your median nerve right in your wrist, and it gets compressed because it's in a kind of a contained system. And the most common complaint people have are, I wake up at night and have to shake my hand because it's numb.
Okay.
Right? That's the classic complaint for carpal tunnel. It affects your thumb, your index, your middle finger, and half of your ring finger. And when people drop things, they can't button shirt. They wake up at night with that numbness and tingling and pain. That's classic carpal tunnel syndrome.
All right, another question off the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. I had ACL meniscus reconstruction a year ago, still having soreness in my soleus muscle. What do you recommend? I do besides RICE, which is rest, ice, compression.
So in basically his gastroc region, right? So this is the muscle underneath that. I mean, therapy is good for it. You can stretch it out, see if it's tight. I mean, I hate to beat this drum, but shockwave is excellent for chronic problems. Like this has been a year now, so that'd be excellent for that. You could have some scar tissue in there. But anything to try to get rid of whatever scar tissue you have, if it's truly in the soleus, right? We're not talking about the knee itself, just truly in the soleus. Therapy can help it, and anything, just try to relieve some of the tension that's in there.
All right, hit the shockwave just so people know about that too.
Yeah, so it basically shoots waves into the area that you have it on, and basically increases the potential of healing in the area, And you get some redness, some swelling after because you're increasing the blood flow. And the whole point of everything that we do in orthopedics, we say bleeding is healing. That's the saying that we have in orthopedics. PRP, we inject it, it causes blood flow to the area, bleeding into the area. For example, a shockwave, you do it causes some bleeding into the area. When you do surgery, sometimes we drill a couple holes in the area to get more blood flow to get it to bleed. So anything that can improve blood flow increases the potential of healing.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. If you need it, find out about it, BariOrthopedics.com. You can find them in locations all over the city of Jacksonville. Dr. George Bari. Gio, thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
As always.
Yo.
All right, we keep it rolling. We're going to get back into the schedule release. We'll at least give you the games we have heard so far. Where is Jacksonville going? Who's coming to Duval? We'll do that coming up.
Take the straightaway at 200 miles an hour.
He's got him. Oh, they're ready to go.
It's NASCAR's All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Sunday night, NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on Jacksonville's NASCAR station 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue since 1949. Now, to thank all their loyal customers, Bono's is bringing back their Club 49 card. You can get a $500 gift card for only $350. That's a savings of $150. You can purchase your Club 49 card at any of the Bono's locations around town. And you'll want to get to Bono's soon to get the spring wing deal. You get 6 wings and a side for just $11.99. Head to Bono's, and remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Frank Frangie here. May is Military Appreciation Month, and Nimnik Buick GMC proudly salutes the brave men and women who serve and have served our country. As a thank you, we're offering an additional $500 off select new Buick and GMCs, and every vehicle purchased at Nimnik supports K9s for Warriors. Nimnik thanks you for your service and your sacrifice. Shop 24/7 online at NimnikBuickGMC.com. Value your trade and customize your payment options in seconds. Visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
Okay, here we go with our final lightning round on Potty Talk. Top 3 answers on the board. Ready? Okay. The best way to save money when your faucets or pipes are leaking.
Roland Reese Plumbing?
Something to help you avoid clogged sewers and drains.
Roland Reese Plumbing.
The technical term for that ba-whoosh sound when a toilet flushes correctly.
Roland Reese Plumbing.
Roland Reese Plumbing is always the right answer. Roland Reese Plumbing, 260-7059.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 14, 1913, Washington Senators pitcher Walter Johnson had his MLB record of 56 scoreless innings snapped, giving up a run to the St. Louis Browns.
Looking for a fun-filled evening the whole family can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football, a fast-paced, action-packed sport where excitement meets family fun. Check out your hometown Sharks this Saturday, May 17th. Kickoff at 7. Ask about family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here, looking for a fun-filled evening that the whole family can enjoy. Our Jacksonville Sharks are back in town this Saturday. Discover the thrill of indoor football. Fast-paced, action-packed sport where excitement meets family fun. This Saturday, May 17th, kickoff 7 o'clock. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card. All for only $100. For ticketing, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700.
Go Sharks! The Golf Club of Southampton has plenty going on, from a great round to a round with your buds, soaking up some football and great grub. Every Saturday and Sunday at Southampton, enjoy their game day special. Wings tossed in your favorite sauce and a cold pitcher of beer. Membership opportunities to take advantage of, too. Join Southampton with a paid initiation, and you'll get a $500 gift card. Perfect for golf, pro shop purchases, or the clubhouse. Check it out. It's all happening at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Hacker here.
And let's talk sincerity. You know, there's a big difference between someone tossing you a casual, hey, how you doing, and genuinely asking, no, really, how are you doing? At Awaken 180, I felt that sincerity every single week while dropping 122 pounds, and I still feel it every month in free maintenance for life. Sure, seeing that number plunge on the scale was incredible, but what truly pushed me across the goal line? My amazing Awaken 180 coaches. They coached me up like I was prepping for draft day, always in my corner, sincerely invested in my success, and check this out. I'm going on a cruise in a couple of weeks, complete with formal night. Now, normally, cameras and I have a strained relationship. I hated taking pictures, but thanks to Awaken 180, the camera and I have made peace. No more ducking photos. Want results you can actually keep? Do what we all did and call 844-346-1800 or book online at awaken180weightloss.com.
How many schools are there in the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, and the Pac-12?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 16 teams in the Big 12, 18 in the Big 10, 16 in the SEC, but only 2 teams remain in the Pac-12.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Spring and summer registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball. Plus, all new girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows. I-9 Sports with fields and gyms all over 3 counties. And the best thing is I-9 Sports offers sports year-round so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, my takeaway is that it was great having Coach O on the show today, man. Absolutely love Coach O. Remember him back in the days. You know, I'm proud of him because he came to Miami as a graduate assistant and won 2 national championships with me as assistant defensive line coach to go off and win his own championship, LSU. So always going to love Coach O. Always have a spot in my heart for him.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
He was there for me. He was there when I was a pup.
Yeah.
Saw the pup turn into a pit bull.
And he said, Lee, he would always say, he said, what did he say? He said, I called him my man. And then you'd always say, yes, sir. Whatever he told you to do, yes, sir.
He was
just great.
He was the man. I love Coach O.
But you figure him and Tommy Tuberville were both graduate assistants,
They
right?
were, yeah.
Any other youngsters? Because you had the Wanstedts and Davises and Campos.
Well, I just remember those 2 distinctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were on the defensive side of the ball, which I hated when I was at Miami.
And they knew.
Coach O was right. I became the player I was at Miami because our defense was so good.
Yeah,
because I had to go up there every day. So yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I mean, my takeaway is I look at Coach O and I wish there were characters like him in the game now, and I think that what NIL and free player movement has done is it's kind of taken away the characters of the game. It's kind of taken away each coach's ability to kind of not be so serious about their job. I mean, they're football coaches, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Everything is so intense.
And there used to be guys that were fun, and it was, and again, this is the old days and get off my lawn, and I get all that crap, okay? But it wasn't that long ago where we had a guy like Eddie O in 2019, all right? So those guys are there. Nick Saban was one of those guys. You might have called him a curmudgeon, but he would get on a soapbox, and you'd be like, yeah, he's right. And it's, he would say things that made a difference. Now these guys are afraid to say anything for fear of insulting players, insulting their agents, insulting their parents, insulting the whatever mediator they've got with them. They can't do anything now because they're all worried about, well, this may inhibit my ability to build my roster. And it's really taken somewhat of the joy out of the unique aspects of the game in only 4 years, which has been on 4 or 5 years.
Right. And even though Joey Burrow was a transfer portal player, he was at LSU for 2 years. And we're missing more of that as well. So both of them, when you combine both of those together, the charm of that legacy type of coach and then that legacy type of player, because Joe Burrow is a legacy, a legend in Baton Rouge. Okay, he didn't come from there, but he left there a legend, and we're going to miss out on those guys. Now, Cam Ward came into our world a year ago and became a bit of a Miami legend. He will definitely be viewed as such, but there's just not enough of those. We just don't have them. They don't exist.
It's also, and whether the coaches like it or not, their salaries are going higher. The players are now earning, and they're making a lot of money. And the idea of this grace period of, well, he just got there, it's going to take 3 or 4 years, or, well, the player just got there, give him a year to redshirt, give him a year to develop, like Leon did, give him the year to develop into an All-American, to being the best offensive lineman ever at the school. Those days are over, man. Now fans are now conditioned of, all right, well, if you don't do it in year one, you completely change the roster. It's your roster. Why aren't you winning? Or we just paid you $2 million. Why are you throwing 14 interceptions?
Yeah.
There's charm that's left the game is what is the problem.
My takeaway is that out of 14 players selected off of that 2019 LSU Tiger National Championship winning team, how the hell did Duval end up with Caleb on Chason? Okay. How did it end up being that one coming here out of all those other great ones? The Jeffersons, the Chases, the Burrows, the Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the Patrick Queens of the world.
Yeah, Patrick Queen was a great player on that team, too.
Yeah, Patrick Queen. Was Stingley on that squad? He may not have been there yet, but still. I mean, come on. He actually.
Yeah, he was. He was a freshman. Yeah, that's right.
Stingley, golly.
I think he was a freshman on that squad.
So many good ones.
Yeah.
Well, I just know 14 of them were drafted. It was a stellar class, that's for sure. And, yeah, this is what they ended up with. It's kind of like when Florida went and hired the best Nick Saban assistant they could find, and it just happened to be Jim McElwain. Not Kirby Smart, not any of the other ones.
And by the way, knew less than 6 months into it that he was the wrong fit before he even coached the game. Had multiple people that back then from that administration
it's just
tell me that they knew before he even coached the game.
It was oil and water.
He was the wrong fit. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible. That's terrible. All right, we were at the ACC yesterday. If you don't mind, JJ, the ukulele, please. Let's go from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Oh! With a delicious Mexican lager. Outstanding, the Pacifico Claro. You can enjoy it. You can sit back. Probably solve a few of the world's problems. 12 ounces time. Just pick up some cold Pacifico whenever you're out shopping or ordering one at the bar. So, ACC from yesterday. This is not easy, but at least I just want to see if you can do it. We know that Miami had the most drafted players coming out of the Atlantic Coast Conference this last year, okay? Can you give me the next 3 of the most drafted players off of those college rosters this year? Miami had 7. I need the next 3 schools with the most players drafted from the Atlantic Coast Conference.
From the ACC? Wow. Okay. Okay. Pitt.
What?
Processing.
I'd just say Clemson, Georgia Tech, and Florida State.
I don't think it's not
Florida State had 2, I think.
It's not Florida State. I'm going to say
2 in the ACC might be a lot.
North Carolina, Pitt, and gotta be one more. North Carolina, Pitt, and let's go.
Wouldn't you guess Clemson?
No.
I'm just going to stop all y'all.
Syracuse.
No one has mentioned
Syracuse.
a correct school
Syracuse.
yet. We finally have a correct school mentioned.
Southern Methodist?
SMU?
Nope.
Cal?
Finally another one.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Syracuse, Cal, and let's say Boston College.
Nope.
Not Georgia Tech?
Nope. I'll give you a
Duke.
couple.
Duke.
Nope.
Oh, Duke.
I'll give you a couple. Clemson had 3 drafted.
Okay.
Pitt had 3 drafted. Boston College had 3 drafted. SMU, Georgia Tech, same pile as Florida State. 2 drafted from each of those schools. The only other one that you have not mentioned that was at the top, Miami was with 7.
Louisville,
yeah.
No, Louisville had 3.
It's not Wake Forest.
We're just naming
NC
every
State?
single school.
Exactly. And you still haven't gotten to it. Cal and Syracuse had 4
Stanford?
each. One better than them, Virginia Tech. Had 5, including
Tootin'.
Yeah, including Bashal Tootin, who's coming here to the city of Jacksonville. 5.
There's always a connection with you.
Well, not always, but
Yes,
5.
always.
I tied it back with the ACC. That was the connection. 5 from Virginia Tech. And when you consider the fact that 5-player team among NFL draft picks, they only won, 6 games? Is that right? Does that sound right, Brent Pry?
I think, yeah.
I think 6 to 7. I think is what they were.
Yeah.
So anyway, they had the second most drafted players, and they still were only batting around 500. But the other ones, Florida State, not alone with the 2 total draft picks off of their team. Virginia had 1. North Carolina had 1. NC State had 1. Stanford had 1.
Martin Hampton was the only guy drafted off that roster?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Mac Brown, when he first came back, they were doing a decent job recruiting.
Yeah.
But North Carolina churned out the same number of draft choices as Virginia did. That's something right there. Speaking of something.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, so this is, we're slowly getting some leaks.
Right.
So
Bring
we
it on.
had Broncos-Chiefs as one of the Christmas games that was announced yesterday. We have the other 2.
Okay.
So Cowboys at Commanders at 1 p.m. on Netflix, Christmas Day. And then the next game at 4:30, Lions at Vikings.
Wow.
Okay. I like that.
Wouldn't it be great
And then the
at some
nightcap,
point
like
if-
I said, Broncos-Chiefs.
Wouldn't it be great if at some point, like, this team was at that level?
Not on
Oh.
Christmas. I would hate that, having to come into work on Christmas.
that would suck.
It would,
but
but I
just
mean,
from
like,
a-
at that level of, like, they're playing these marquee games where, the Commanders were terrible prior to Jaden Daniels get there. Now look at them. Now look. The Lions were terrible forever. Then they changed the front office and everything changes. It can happen.
It can.
It can happen.
It could also happen that Washington could have 6 wins this year.
Yeah, because
that's the league. There's no doubt that's the league.
Yeah, they were a rocket ship to the championship game. Like they hadn't been there in, golly, over 20 years.
Right. In fact, JJ, the odds are they're going to slip.
Yeah.
More than likely, like, significantly, too. But still, it's just the idea of being there. There are teams that are always there in the NFL for a reason, because they do it the right way. They draft well.
Yeah,
Right.
They got the right quarterback.
And you can take a look at the teams that consistently, the Baltimores that are consistently there, Pittsburgh, as much as they haven't won in the postseason
Yeah,
of
there's
late.
a group of,
they
I bet,
still
of like
get to the
8 or 9
postseason.
teams that are, no matter what, they're either in the playoffs or right at it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they know what they're doing.
And we went down the list of them before. The Green Bay Packers
Yeah.
consistently get to the postseason, and the Chiefs, of course, and the Patriots did it for such a long time. But we'll find out which of these things that this team did this offseason is going to lead to that profound change. Is it the head coach? Is it the GM? Is it changing the quarterback by bringing in the head coach? Adding talent?
As much as we talk about the players and bringing in the athletes, but organizationally, there has to be structure and order from top to bottom. Pittsburgh, 4 straight years, playoffs. Jacksonville, 4 straight years, playoffs. It's no coincidence.
No.
That means that both organizations had a tight grip on what the expectations were when you come here. Even Jacksonville at an early age.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I think it is fair to say that when you walk in to a perennial playoff caliber team, and you walk in as an outsider, you're signing, let's just use you as a free agent contract. You did not walk into a perennial playoff contender. You walked into a second-year-old franchise. But when you walk in, the expectations, you meet them as soon as you walk in the door, correct? Like when you went to Baltimore, even though it didn't work out with you physically because of the injury, you went into a place where you knew what the expectations were right away, correct?
Yeah, they had the culture. You walk through the door, to the left of you, when you walk into the lobby, it says play like a Raven. And playing like a Raven was
at that time
championships.
Yeah.
Well, that was their first.
Yeah.
But that was the expectation. When you come in the door, play like Steelers. You walk in the lobby, 4 Lombardis in front of you, right before you even turn to the locker. Expectations.
Right.
Yeah. Jacksonville was new. That's what Tom Coughlin was trying to build. He was trying to build that culture.
Yeah.
And he did. Winning builds the culture. I don't care what anybody says.
Exactly.
You win games, that's culture.
If you sign for a winning franchise, you walk in getting a a full introduction on what's expected of you. You're not going to come in to be paid high to play average. You're being brought in to keep it going, keep it in the playoffs every single year. This guy can keep it going.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
The embedded shredder can keep it going. We crossed a couple of different avenues.
I can give you 9
Yeah.
seconds.
of opportunity there. But yes, he brings it, okay? We know that. Level of expectation is high for this football team. Fair or unfair in this offseason?
Yeah, no, I think it's fair. I mean, it's fair to expect them to compete in the worst division in the NFL.
Yes.
So, they should be embarrassed if we get to middle of December and they're not at least in the hunt to win the AFC South.
Right,
if Houston's
off.
a couple games ahead, fine. At least it's still somewhat interesting. But if you get to December 10th and they're 5 games back of whoever the leader is, and I have to assume it's going to be Houston because I have no faith in the Colts, and the Titans are totally rebuilding with a rookie quarterback. So you would think that, they're at least a year or two away from being really competitive. So, yeah, I get it. There's a lot of newness, and it's a young team. But, come on. They're lucky they're not in another division. You want to have a conversation about the Jaguars? Place them in any other division in the AFC and talk about what their chances would look like.
Just go through it real quick. West.
But they're in the South.
Yeah.
So.
West, no shot. AFC
They'd finish
North,
4th.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah.
I say it best. They'd finish 3rd at best. They might beat out the Raiders. And in the North, it's the same story.
Oh, my gosh.
They might be 3rd.
Right.
They might beat out Cleveland.
And then the East.
And the East, I guess, we'll see. The East might actually be taking a step back. But we'll see. But, they're not. They're in the AFC South, and the expectation should be, I think it should be win the division, but certainly at least push it to week, 16, 17, 18,
right.
Where you're playing meaningful football. So we'll see.
You guys have a good feel for the schedule. I know you do.
Yeah. But it comes out at 8. So
you're excited, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think, it's going to be fun. And, so we'll obviously talk as much about that as we can. But we're going to we'll have a great Frangie show. Brett Hastings will join us to do sports and courts. So that'll be fun. Lee Smith's going to join us to talk all things PGA Championship. He's the executive director of the Players Championship. So that'll be a fantastic breakdown preview of the second major of the season, really the third in my opinion, but officially the second major of the season. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun coming up on the Frangie Show.
If I hear you say I got a hunch, I'm tweeting.
I got a hunch.
All right.
You know who I like this week?
Yeah. Hayes Carline.
Thank you.
Coming up with JJ. We are done. The Golf Club of Southampton. We say thanks to them. The 9 after 5. It's on a little after 5 today. Come on out to the Golf Club of Southampton. You can call 287-PLAY. Skins game, 9-hole game, all of it. We will have a big time. Thanks for getting Eddie O. Outstanding work. Good conversation from him, that's for sure.
Go Tigers.
Yeah, there we are. He's saying go Canes now. We should have gotten him to give us one of those drops. Maybe we'll have to do that next time when he visits with us. All right, JJ, Big Sirs, Matty, and Josie.
And I'm glad you didn't have that route for Salafusa. Wouldn't ever got past number 1. Anyway.